I would like to thank TSI for this opportunity to be a part of this TSI Leadership Program Series 2 with the team, the people of Sarawak. My name is Aida. I am your first speaker of the day and my topic is Malays and Kedayan. So I give you a basic definitions, basic introductions for you to understand Malays. Malay in the literal meaning is a community group who speak Malay, they practice Malay customs and they are Muslim. But in the Malay community in Malaysia is consists of all groups inhabitant of the Malay islands who have migrated to Malaya since hundreds of years ago, such as Aceh, Minangkabau, Mandaling, Bengkulu, Rawak, Palembang, Lampung, Javanese, Sudanese, Bugis, Banjar, Sulu, Bajau, and Melanau. So I can say that from these definitions, most of the Malay I came from the Sumatra in Indonesia. In the Sarawak context, James Brooke, we know who are the James Brooke, introduced the term Malay, which refers to the all coastal seafaring Muslim in the archipelago. So this is where he tried to understand the Malay community. So in Borneo and Sarawak, a person is considered Malay when the individual himself considered themselves as a Malay is considered the same by people of his nationality. So it's a common if people in Sarawak say we are Malay. So they try to declare themselves as a Malay. Okay. Then the origin of Sarawak Malay. I read many articles to know about this, but I would like to share opinions and finding wrote by Datuk General Ami. According to his research and journals articles, he said that Malay usually live in the coastal area. In Malay, we call it Pesisir Pantai and coast of Sarawak in an area of 400 miles. The coast of Borneo has been inhabited by Muslims who practice the Malay culture. So the second one is the opinion is regarding descendants of the Brunei Malay, the Sultanates of Malay. Malay who live in the area close to Brunei, such in the Miri divisions, okay? And the descendants of this group, they use the title Abang and Dayang. This is we always come across with the name of Abang Samsudin, Dayang Suhana. So now I understand that this particular name, okay, which also function as a family name, surname, they are the descendants from the Brunei Malay. So this happens when the expansions of the Brunei power of Sarawak that brought a group of Malay to Sarawak after the arrival of the Datuk Merpati Jepang. So historically speaking, when we try to review the history of Malay, they are not the original from this particular land, Sarawak. Okay, and the third idea about this, it is the originating from the Dayak nation who embrace Islam and have adopted the custom, the culture, and the life of Malay language in their daily life. So it can be said that the Dayak through assimilations process into Malay willingly after embracing Islam. So the next question here is, okay, the locations of this Sarawak Malay. So Malay usually live in the coastal area as mentioned before in the coast of Sarawak area of 400 miles. So although they are the coastal people but not in the absolute sense, okay, there are many Malay settlements at all the principal inland towns. The furthest is the Beng Kapit, 150 miles upriver from the coast. All right. So half of them, of this Malay, they stay the first divisions at the southwestern end of the country with half of the populations. Okay. But I would like to share another info about this to get any more exact and detailed picture. You would have to inquire on the spot of the different places. For instance, okay, look at the kampung stretching downriver from the Fort Margarita. There is a long line of them who mean familiar with this name, Kampung Boyan, Kampung Gersit, Kampung Surabaya, Kampung Pelensiman, and so on, further up to Kampung Bintawa. This particular settlement, they are next door to one another. There is a track running straight through them and the river connect them at the back. So, but generally speaking, that the Malay usually live in the coastal area, historically speaking, as well. Right. So Sarawak Malay in recent times is a partial assimilation. It due to the involvement of the assimilations process of the coastal tribes, the Melanau and Kedayan by conversion to Islam. Okay. So I can say it's quite a lot of the mixture of indigenous blood by intermarriage with the women of other ethnic or tribes, principally perhaps the land Daya, and a certain amount of Chinese blood acquired mainly by adoptions of Chinese baby girl. So each of these process imply the conversion to Islam. We come across with the word masuk Melayu. Okay, when I read the journal, there are many this kind of the statement of masuk Melayu when it involved in the process of assimilation. So today, the process of Islam assimilations can be seen, right? So Sarawak Malay themselves will tell you that they are very mixed people. They're very mixed people. So the Sarawak Malays are indeed a mixed people. When they reach the Northwest Borneo, they had mixed with the various indigenous groups. All right. So to conclude, I can say that from the first part of the presentations, the background of the Malay, Sarawak Malays are a group of Muslim who practice the characteristics of Malay itself, the culture, the language, the lifestyle. Okay. So the next one is Kedayan. Okay. When I have this topic about Malay and Kedayan, I made the comparison. What are the unique about this ethnic? Kedayan is the minority group. Okay, Kedayan is the minority group in the Borneo Islands. So Kedayan is a commonly originated from the Java, Tanah Jawa, which was brought by the Sultan Bolkiah when he visited the Tanah Java. Tanah Jawa. So it also found to be closely related to the history of Brunei, since Brunei was the origins of the Kedayan people before they migrated to other regions. So I try to understand this particular situation. There are two things. Number one is bring to Brunei. They try to migrate from Brunei. So this is where again, according to this particular researcher, they said these Kedayan people are from Java, brought up by Sultan Brunei. So the location of this Kedayan ethnic group again is a minority. So it's situated on the northern part of Sarawak. Okay. There was a research conducted by the UKM lecturers. He focused on the Kedayan community in Bekenu and Sibuti. But apart of this, Kedayan ethnic also located at Libang, Lawas, Miri, Bintulu in Sarawak. And surprisingly, okay, similarity with Kedayan Sabah and Kedayan Sarawak, where Kedayan Sabah located at Sipitang and Apapar, and definitely there are many in Brunei. So this community is seems to have the physical characteristic, customs, and culture closely related to the Brunei Malay, okay, who were the original settlement of the Kedayan community before they migrated around Borneo, such as Labuan, Limbang, and Miri. So there was a questions asking about Kedayan is a nomad people migrate. No, because this is due to the process of where the Sultan Bolkiah during that time brought this community come to Brunei. Okay, all right. So the next one is what are their unique cultural traits, the unique custom, for example, food, wedding, custom, and spiritual belief. So based on my reading point of view, I found there are some similarities between these two communities, Malays and Kedayan. Okay, so when I try to share this thing, I combine both for Kedayan and Malay. The first one is bercukur. In Malay, we call it shaving. Okay, shave. bercukur, potong rambut. This is for the new baby. For 40 days after a baby is born, the parent may give feast to celebrate the cutting of his or her hair. It's for both baby boy and a baby girl. The question is it a compulsory? It's a tradition. It's a culture to celebrate that they have a new baby in the family. So it's kind of a small feast. They invited the close families, friends to celebrate. Okay. So this particular potong rambut, bercukur still practiced until nowadays. But now you can see most of the potong rambut and the bercukur, they started with the issue with the trend of baby shower. Just to inform you, baby shower is not a culture or traditions in Malay or both Kedayan. It is kind of the innovations of how they try to celebrate the new baby, incoming the new baby. So baby shower is not a culture, okay? It's a trend. Okay, the second one is the makan selamat. Makan selamat is I can call in Malay and the Kedayan. This is they celebrate the outstanding event. For instance, victory, okay, promotion, recovery from illness, just to show their thankful and grateful of this particular event and situation. So this makan selamat normally held night, malam, and also during the weekend. They invite particularly the community on their settlement area. They cook together, and you look at the photo itself, the way they serve food, they're sitting on the floor. It's very quite traditional way for them to show how this community still practice. But nowadays, yes, it is. If you go to the certain villages, kampung-kampung, on the outskirt area, all right, they used to serve their guests on the floor. They sit together. But nowadays, the trending, they use buffet. They use buffet. They serve their guests using the paper plate, paper cup, and simply after finish eating, they throw everything in the rubbish dump. So this is how they try to innovate the particular makan selamat. Wedding. Okay. Wedding for both Kedayans and Malay, the wedding, okay, it a similar method. The parents, both side meets to fix the dowry. Dowry is, we call it mas kawin. Okay, I would like to stress here, nowadays, the dowry is depend on the states. Like Sarawak is 130 for the dowry, okay? Selangor, Johor is totally different. And belanja dapur. Belanja dapur is the extra expenditure, the money given to the bride, which is the contributions toward the wedding phase. Okay, just to mention here, there is no specifically amount, okay, determined accordingly for both Malay and Kedayan to fix the amount of the belanja dapur. It can be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, up to 100,000. And most of the both parents agreed they can negotiate, they can have this kind of to put the amount of this belanja dapur, and they seldom announce this particular amount, except if you are celebrity lah, you will say that, oh, my belanja dapur is 120,000, 30,000. So this belanja dapur, the expenditure for the wedding can cover all the wedding expenditure from the bride side. Okay, so the question, is it a compulsory? It is not a compulsory, but it is, we can call it as a sagu hati. Okay, for the bride to organize, I mean, how they can manage for the financials support for them to conduct their wedding. Okay, belajar dapur. So is this practice until nowadays? Yes, but this is the questions for the youngsters nowadays. I in many states, because the belanja dapur kind of burden for them. But the dowry is no doubt. It is a compulsory. It's a wajib, must for the wedding. So this wedding, okay, you look at when you're facing the laptop, the screen, on the left side is the Kedayan wedding costume. All right. On the right side is the Malay. So the bride and the groom within the wedding feast, they sit themselves and enthroned among their guests. They will welcome the guests. So before I start the session, I look at our WhatsApp group, and some said that the wedding nowadays at the hotel. Yes, it is a trend nowadays to having wedding at the hotel because to show their image, the status in the family, all right. But for the Kedayan and also for the Malays traditional approach, most of the wedding, I think, previously speaking, conducted at their own parents' house, okay, to show the respect for the parents. So this is where, okay, one of the culture, one of the tradition I would like to share here. Most of our youngsters, okay, most our teenagers don't know about this. Nasi temuan. Nasi temuan it is a kind of the traditions during the wedding, Malay and both for the Kedayan wedding. All right. Nowadays, yes, they still practice, but okay, but this particular nasi temuan is a kind of like they try to make the wedding is kind of they try to attract the audience, the guests about this particular nasi temuan. It is kind of the bridal ceremony when the groom and the bride sit together, assisted by the middleman. You look at the women holding the, we call it tudung sarang. She will count 1, 2, 3, and she open the tudung sarang, and both bride and groom try to feed each other. So believe so that if the bride feed the groom first, okay, the bride feed the groom first, the groom have to listen to the bride. If the groom feed the bride serve, the bride have to listen to the groom. But it is to show the united in their marriage. Okay. The second one is there was a question regarding to the cutting the wedding cake. Okay, sad to say, wedding cake, cutting the wedding cake is not the culture and tradition in any Malay or Kedayan. It is how we call it, it is a supplementary activity I can call for the wedding ceremony. If you notice, most nowadays, all right, the cutting cake ceremony, it is kind of the compulsory tentative programs, and with the video slide presentation, the speech from the parents, brides from the parents group, and the and there is a rehearsal for this kind of the wedding ceremony. But to be honest, okay, this kind of the particularly protocol wise in the wedding for the Malay Kedayan is not exist at all. It is a trending nowadays. So to answer the questions of the why nowadays, most of the wedding celebrated in the hotel, luxury hotel, because it is the trend, the innovations of the wedding ceremony. They want to show that how capable, affordable of the both family. So it influence the trend of the wedding nowadays. It kind of burden of the youngsters. How they want to decide their wedding to proceed at the parent house or the locations at the hotel. But what can I say when I read 2 articles regarding to the wedding, okay, nasi temuan, this kind of the bersanding ceremony. Most of the Malays at the kampung area, they still practice this kind of wedding ceremony. They conduct the wedding ceremony at your house. It's more cheaper. The third important significant informations I would like to share. Previously, there will be 2 ceremonies on the bride side and also on the groom side. Okay, bride side, another ceremony, the groom side, another ceremony. And in Malay, we call it majemuk. I mean, both the bride and the groom will go to the parents of the both side just to welcome, to introduce themselves. Okay. But nowadays, due to the process of modernizations, development process, the economic struggle, both bride and groom will share joining budget to have one wedding ceremony. I think most of you will agree of this. That's why the Igbo, they really want to conduct to celebrate their wedding at the luxurious hotel because one budget for both bride and groom. We can call it a joint budget lah. Okay, this is the trend also nowadays. For previously, no. Malays, it is more preferable on the bride side, another ceremony, on the groom side, another ceremony. Okay, this is about the nasi temuan. So the spiritual belief. Okay. The spiritual belief for both Kedayans and Malay, I come across with the word makan tahun. Okay, makan tahun is totally different from makan selamat. Okay, so makan tahun, this is the pattern of life of the Kedayan community that is close to the surrounding nature. And the mistake, belief, and the practice by the ancestors are difficult to leave behind and can be seen until now. Yes, it is. All right. This is something. Yes, I did mention that the process of Islamization, assimilation process, among the varieties of ethnic in Sarawak. Okay, but this makan tahun is expressions of the gratitude by the display aspect of the feast contribute the characteristic of the makan tahun. Okay, the makan tahun, it is where they will have a celebrations. Why I said it's totally different with the makan selamat. Makan selamat is to show the grateful or the thankful of some of the achievement, recovery from the illness. It is to express the joy of the community, sense of the greater value of food. Makan tahun is the annual event. Annual event. The beauty part of this makan tahun is still practiced nowadays by both Malays and Kedayan, and it become one of the community event, annual event celebrated by the certain particular settlement in Malay. And I would like to stress here also, the villages, kampung, like the rural area, they do practice this and they try to explain to their kids why this makan tahun is compulsory. So there are questions asking about this makan tahun. Is it this makan tahun is again the Islamic belief? No, 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 no. The makan tahun just again to show that express the joy of community, just to show that they want to get together. So this makan tahun, the spiritually, because these Kedayan people, they are more involved in agriculture, pertanian. So the life survival depends on whatever they have around them. The environment they live, area which is not really developed, previously speaking. Okay, that's this makan tahun. So the tradition and the custom, right? When we start these sessions before, okay, it was a video, it was a music shown, all right, before we start the session. That is definitely a good answer for this tarian anding, bermukut or bergendang. Okay, but this bermukun or bergendang and tarian anding, said to say, is famous among the senior citizens. I can see among the elderly, all right, our parents, our nene. Okay, this is their musical instrument they're really proud of for both Malays and Kedayan. The steps, the rhythm of the tarian anding. Okay, this is must follow the bermukun or bergendang. Apart from this, if you listen to the music, to the song, before we start the session, they have a lyric. A lyric try to advise, a lyric like a mocking one, mean try to give a kind of a guidance about the situations of life. So this bermukun or bergendang, again, still practiced until nowadays. Invitations for the event. Most of the event, particularly in the village area or the state government, the agencies, they would like to invite this particular, this bermukun or bergendang. Tarian anding accompanied by this tarian anding. So the step is very simple. And the question here is, so the costume for this tarian anding, yes, it's baju Melayu, cekak musang. It portray the culture and portray the image of the Malays and the Kedayan. If the Kedayan dances, they wear red and black. For the Malays, it's baju Melayu to any colors. So gasing player. Okay, spinning top gasing. Kedayan is the top gasing player. This is one of their leisure activities. I found this among the Kedayan. All right. I don't say that Malay don't play gasing. But accordingly, in the traditional way of life, gasing is more quite closely related to the Kedayan people, right? Okay, now food. So the questions about food. This is the traditional food of the Sarawak Malay is very universal and can be enjoyed by all group of people. See, I would like I proudly announce that Chihuahua. The most teenagers and youngsters, especially in Sarawak, are more exposed to traditional food compared to the teenagers, youngsters in the peninsula. Okay, there are a lot of food I can share, Malay's food, Kedayan food, but the one that you see on my screen right now, slide, it is among the famous, the traditional one. Okay, we go to the Kalupis. Kalupis food, it is, the content is, we call it beras pulut. Okay, the beras pulut. This Kalupis, the beras pulut with the coconut milk and a little bit of salt and it's steamed. This kalupis, I can say, a compulsory food during the fasting month, the wedding feast, the makan tahun. They serve this particular kalupis. All right. Celorot, jelorot, celorot. There are many kind of name of this. Okay. Celorot, celurut, celorot. It is also, this celorot is traditional sweet snack. Okay, made of sweet and soft rice flour cake with the coconut milk. In unwrapped with the young coconut leaf in the cone shape. It is a popular traditional sweet snack commonly found in Brunei, Sarawak, and also Indonesia. So similar with the kalupis, they wrap with the young coconut leaf. So this Brunei, they call it jelurut. Brunei and Sabah. Sarawak, we call it celorot. C-L-O-R-O-T. Celorot, celorot. Okay, right? Okay. And the main ingredient for this is palm sugar, gula apung. Must use the palm sugar from Sarawak. If you use any palm sugar from any state, the taste might be different. Nasi kebuli Kedayan. Nasi kebuli is one of the, if okay, I like to make a comparison. If Kelantan, they have nasi kerabu. Okay, okay, Terengganu nasi dagang. For Kedayan, nasi kebuli served during the makan tahun, served during the wedding fest, the traditional way. Historian speaking, this nasi kebuli is a kind of a nasi must be served during the doa selamat as well, and is most probably practiced among the Kedayan community. Umbut kelapa for both, yes. If you used to attend any wedding, Malay wedding, umbut kelapa is kind of the compulsory. They cook with the daging masak hitam. It is a very nice combination. This umbut kelapa cooked with the coconut milk. And youngsters nowadays, right, teenagers must know pais ikan, fish. This fish, it can be any fish. It is a kind of the traditional popular food among the Malays and both Kedayan. Fish marinated with a turmeric, okay, salt, a little bit of salt, pepper, and they're wrapped using the young banana leaf and the roasted. I can call it roasted, or in Malay we call it tuno. panggang. Okay. So there are questions. How about mikolo? How about the midin? How about the other traditional food Malays and Kedayan? Yes, they do have. But the one I would like to share, it is a traditional one that all of us must try to preserve this particular traditional food. Okay. Now the costume. Okay. The Kedayan costume and the Malay costume quite more or less different in terms of colors and the material for this both Kedayan and Malays. For Kedayan, you look at the picture, the color black and red. All right. These traditional clothes with a distinct black and red identity, decorated with kind of ornaments, a tipai button for the male shirt, and kumbambang. Kumbambang bersuja clothes, the for the women, and the material for this they call it as a kain sian bun. So the question is this is this costume or traditional clothes are this wearing this particular traditional clothes nowadays? Yes, it is for the wedding ceremony, particularly for the event, for any traditional activity. So most of the Kedayan people still, I can say one house must have this particular one costume. Okay. Malays. Okay. Men will wear cekak musang. Simple wicket baju Melayu lah. Alright. And side by the side songket. Kain sampin in Malay. We call it. Sarawakian Malay women wear brocaded baju kurung. This baju kurung, sarung songket, scattered flowers, selayah keringkam and songket also. Okay. Songket, keringkam and veil. About keringkam. I would like to share, I supposedly share the photo of keringkam. Okay, keringkam, it is a traditional headscarf of Sarawak and is widely worn by the local Malay women. Nowadays, keringkam used during the wedding and certain particular event invitation, like if there is a dinner among the government agencies, they want to look different, they will keringkam. So this handcrafted with the fine embroidery work using gold and silver colored coarse thread, benang emas. So tudung keringkam, this keringkam, okay, wearing by that particular lady, but in a white color. Normally keringkam is the red color, okay, can be classified into two types. It's the veil, selaya, and the shawl. So the veil is generally worn, which covers the head wrist down to the shoulder, the one that you looking now at the screen. But the shawl keringkam is relatively longer, is worn right to the waist level. Dia macam selendang panjang, the long one. Okay, so now the languages, the Kedayan dialect is found to be similar with the Malay dialect of Brunei. The speakers and two dialects mutually understand each other. The most significant difference between Kedayan dialect and the Malay dialect is the absence of the word R, the vowels, okay? A, E, I, O, U. Okay, I give you the example here. Okay, this is the example of this. Similarity of the dialect. Kedayan dialect, ba-a. So they don't pronounce the alphabet R. They say Malay bara. They say ba-a. Burung, buung. Rumah, umah. So no, this is the similarity. Just don't pronounce the alphabet R. But there are dialects totally different. Like ambu in Malay is monyet, monkey. All right. Another example, cigar, rokok, siguk, morning, sambat, mahat, manore. So there is a mixture of this dialect. That is why the Kedayan people also referred to as a Malay, because from the linguistic point of view, the Kedayan language belong to the Malay language family, and is a high degree of similarity between the Kedayan language and Malay dialect. Is very common. Kedayan people can speak Malay very well because of this dialect. So although written material in the Kedayan that is very limited, but the dialect is still found. So honest, I never come across with a Kedayan people who speak Kedayan. They will speak fully Malay. Just now I have a viva with my Kedayan student, and she admitted she is a pure Kedayan from Miri, but she don't speak Kedayan, but she speak Malay. Okay, all right. And this language spoken by most members of the community. The Kedayan dialect is one of the unique characteristic of the Kedayan communities heritage and still able to survive to this day. So the challenges, right? The question is, after I share the historical background, the locations of Malays and Kedayan, their cultural traits and the custom, to the last part of the presentations, the major challenges. So what are the major challenges facing for this ethnic group? Okay, in the socio-cultural point of view, Chewa. So the minority languages in Sarawak are facing language and endangerment due to modernization. As I said, the dialect not really practiced, used by the origin of the Kedayan people because they're very convenient to speak Malay and because of the assimilations process. Number two, the challenge is the customary preservations among the future generation. I think to have this lecture series about the people of Sarawak is one of the good effort to educate, to create awareness among the youngsters and the teenagers about the to expose them about the historical background, the people of Sarawak itself. Number three, the challenge is the socio-economic. I can say, from my reading point of view, observations method, the socio-economic of this Malay and Kedayan still depend on the small medium enterprise. They're selling snake, those who living in the coastal area. The best example in the Kampong Bako, where most of them are the fishermen on the part of the outskirt area, the agriculture, pertanian. So it's quite a challenge for them how they try to embed it with the current economic situations. Okay. And the last one is, I think, makan gaji is one of the situation which is always try to hunted among the Malays because they depends on the working with the government. Makan gaji. I'm talking in point of people commented on the newspapers writing articles and also interview. They said most of the Malays and Kedayan, a part of it, depends on the makan gaji lah, monthly income. So they must way forward to take the challenge on the economics situation nowadays. Yes, we do have a businessman, businesswoman among the Malays, but not most of them. Okay. All right. So the conclusions for my presentation, my sharing sessions today, the existence and local culture practice of the Malay and Kedayans are influenced by external factors to them. Assimilations process, migration process, okay, the way of life, okay, the lifestyle, and the most effective way to deal with the issues of cultural preservation to make sure that the continuity of the local culture by people on the various educations and administrations level. So we want the unique identity as community is maintained. So I think this is all for today.